Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move on this Wednesday. To do that, we have with us our managing editor for Markets Live, Christine Aquino. And safe to say, Christine, a lot coming out investors, but certainly one stock that we watched bouncing around today, Amazon.
Absolutely, Carol. I mean, that was in the news today. It rose 2%, right? After the New York Times reported that the company apparently made a last-minute bid to buy TikTok in the U.S. But the sources for New York Times also saying that there are various parties who have been involved in the talks do not appear to be taking that bid seriously. So we'll see if that actually comes to fruition, but definitely lifting some sentiment for Amazon there.
We talked to Spencer Sopra on our show a little earlier about this and like why Amazon would be interested in a company such as TikTok. He made a really good point that people don't really spend time on the Amazon app trying to discover new things.
My husband thinks I spend way too much time on the
Amazon has all those tools in the app to try to get you to discover. It has like these AI features and this discovery feature. It's just, to me, it's not engaging at all. Yeah, TikTok, on the other hand, is like, that's like a drug.
Absolutely.
Not for me, because I delete it from my phone.
Haven't you?
Of course I have.
I had to wean myself off of it too, Tim. But no, you're absolutely right. And I think, what Amazon is really missing is that kind of entertainment value on their app, right? And I think that's what they're thinking about when they're looking at this TikTok bid. Well, that's exactly. In a lot of ways, you look at it and it could be the perfect synergy, right? Because it's a content-based app, TikTok, and then it leads you to purchases on Amazon. I mean, that could potentially be a dream come true for Amazon if it does come to fruition.
Okay, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
The other thing we should point out, Jinx, is something that caught our attention too, is that Amazon talking about launching the first batch of satellites to power its Internet from Space initiative as soon as April 9th. But you think about
Project Kuiper.
Exactly. And going after what SpaceX is doing, right? Already with a lot of low orbit satellites. And so you wonder kind of what might happen with that and whether this could be a big business for them.
Okay, you said SpaceX, so maybe that's a good segue to talk Tesla, Christine. This one was all over the place today.
All over the place. Yeah, that was quite the U-turn. I mean, we've seen Tesla shares now up more than 5%, and earlier it was down more than 6%. So yeah, that is quite the turn for that stock today, and it's all because of one man, Elon Musk, because we are getting some reports earlier from Politico saying that Elon Musk's time as a top advisor to Donald Trump may end soon. Although Musk himself pushed back against that. He did call it fake news in his words. And we also got the White House press secretary pushing back against it. But yeah, that's in the works. And that was enough. Just that report was enough to push that stock back up after a poor sales report earlier.
Yeah, investors are maybe hoping he comes back home to the company, right, and focuses on the business, because it certainly has been battered around the world because of some of his political comments and his affiliation, certainly with the Trump administration. Consumers, which tend to be more liberal, I think, right? Safe to say that buy Tesla cars have maybe not been so happy with what he has had.
Caroline Leavitt in the White House, she called it, quote, garbage, which Carol and I had a little debate about what that actually meant. I look at that as a denial, but you said garbage can mean anything, Carol.
Well, it's not like you said, she didn't say it's not true. She said it's garbage.
Yeah.
So she could be like, garbage, but it's true.
Honestly, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think that's a really smart way to look at it. My immediate reaction is she's denying it if she's saying it's garbage. But
it feels so non-committal, though.
It does.
I don't know. Investors definitely not non-committal when it comes to Newsmax over the last couple of days. But today we saw a bit of a different trend. We saw a bunch of selling.
Absolutely, Carol. It plunged 77%. So that erased more than $23 billion of value from the company. It's only its third day of trading as a public company. So that's quite the turn again. But, it's still up more than 500%, or more than 400%, I should say, from its offer price. And, its market cap still at $6 billion. So that's a pretty nice cushion there.
What was the market cap yesterday, Tim?
More than $29 billion, close to $30 billion.
It's crazy how much this has bounced around. But you're right. If you bought it at the IPO, you still made a pretty penny.
Absolutely.
So just to sort of look at some comparable companies, the New York Times, for example, has a market cap of $8.1 billion. I believe Paramount has a market cap of around $8 billion, roughly. I'm talking rough here. So just to compare media companies.
Heard Alex Steele say, hey, media's back, about what we've seen certainly in terms of the run-up in the last 2 days, a little bit of a different tone today.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.